Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this Art Addicts Alliance video for the month of July 2021. This month's theme is either fairy tale or childhood, so let's get started. For this month's theme, I chose to work with fairy tale, and it kind of includes just a sprinkle of childhood in there too. But before I go into all of that, two things I always want to touch on: what I'm painting and what exactly the Art Addicts Alliance is. So I decided to paint a llama with water-soluble oils on a canvas panel to go with the story that I'll be breaking down later on. Now let's talk a little bit about the Art Addicts Alliance in case you are new to my channel. The Art Addicts Alliance is a group of artists on YouTube that collab once a month on an official prompt that we vote on in our Discord. You too can join our Discord and vote for the monthly prompt. You could also suggest themes, chat with us, and share your artwork or content. And if you're interested in becoming an official permanent member, you can apply right on our Discord. We only ask that you are an active creator and have a minimum of 100 subscribers. If you don't want to commit on being a permanent member, you could also join as a featured guest for the month. Whatever you feel comfortable with. It's a great supportive art group, and it's fun to see how everyone makes their prompt truly their own. The Discord is also a fun place to just keep in touch and make new friends and art friends. So far, this amazing group of awesome artists is made up of Auroras, Art World, Weblight Dreams, All Funnies and Games, Blue Finn, Enjoy Drawing with Mary, Jenna Gets Creative, The Artsy Pineapple, Dwyer Artistry, JazCapri, Pandimensionalspacezombie, Kolornix, and me. I highly recommend you check out all their channels. Okay, back to the story. So there's this book called El Secreto de la Llama, una leyenda peruana, which translates to The Llama's Secret, a Peruvian Legend, by Argentina Palacios. I tried to find a link to buy a digital version so that I could read it as the voiceover, but it was really hard to find. I then checked my library and it was available to put on hold, but they had to order it in to be picked up from another library, and that didn't play out on time for me to be able to record the video and the voiceover. So I probably should have prepared a little bit more for this video, but it is what it is. I'll probably upload it again anyways later on because I really wanted to share the story, but I couldn't find it anywhere for either audio or digital. This story is a lot like Noah's Ark, but I guess the Peruvian version. I'm not sure if this is an actual legend or just a book someone made up, but I remember when I was very young, my aunt had returned from a trip to Peru. Fun fact, I am Peruvian. And she brought me this book. I wanted to learn how to read Spanish, and this is the first book I ever remember being able to read. And a book called Esperanza something, I think. I don't know. Talking about reading my first book in Spanish unlocked an old memory, and now I'm gonna have to try and look that book up after this too. Okay, so like I was saying, I wanted to learn to read Spanish, and my aunt brought me back this book, and I was so excited to read it. So it goes a little something like this. There was a man who would go tend to his crops with his llama. He noticed the llama wasn't eating, so he asked the llama to eat, but it refused. The next day, the same thing, and again the following day. The man got so frustrated that he begged the llama to eat. He told the llama if he didn't eat, he would get sick and die, and he needed him. So the llama started crying and spoke to the man. He said that Mama Cocha, which was the Incan goddess of water, was upset and that she was going to flood the earth, and that he needed to take his family and enough food for, I think it was 30 days, up to the highest mountain. The man was shook, but he listened to the llama. He went back home and looked spooked and told his wife that the llama spoke to him. I think at first the wife was like, yeah, right. But then when she saw how serious he was, she was like, oh crap, let's get our things and get going. So they gathered their food, and I think they had children too. I'm not exactly sure, but they all, including the llama, began their journey up the mountain. On the way there, they would warn every creature they came across about the Great Flood. So the animals began following them up the mountain, and eventually they had a really long Congo line behind them. I think they warned foxes or something like that about the flood, and they didn't listen or cared and kept going their own way. Suddenly, they were arriving to the top of the mountain, and I think this is when it started to pour down and get all crazy. They noticed the foxes that ignored their warning started running up towards the mountain, and they had barely made it. It was so packed that the tip of their tails stayed in the water. So it got really dark, I think, too, and just all around scary, and the llama was calming them all down, saying it would be be okay. And then after 30 days or whatever it was, the water went down and they were able to return to start over. The llama never spoke again, but since that day, they decorated the llama with ribbons and bows to celebrate him. Oh, and the foxes that didn't believe, they had a permanent mark from where their tails were submerged in the water. So yeah, I summarized it pretty short, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Again, I'm not exactly sure if it's a Peruvian legend or not. I definitely have to do more research as to why Peruvians love llamas so much, besides the fact that they are so stinking cute. I mean, they're on the flag, so... Did you know the difference between llamas and alpacas? Because I've always had a difficulty understanding since I was little. So here's what Google says. The most distinguishing physical differences between alpacas and llamas are their size, their hair, and their face shapes. Alpacas have small, blunt faces with short ears, while llamas have more elongated faces with banana-sized ear. Another key difference is their hair. And after I read that, I do feel like alpacas have more of a fluffy hair texture, kind of like sheep, and llamas have like more stringy hair. And it also says that alpacas are smaller in size and llamas are just bigger. There you go, just in case you didn't know. After all that, I don't like the way this came out. I first wanted to paint a black llama with a yellow background, but parts of it ended up looking too Payne's grayish, which clashed really bad in my opinion with the yellow ochre background, which made the whole thing just feel wrong. I wanted to do a black llama because that's what the llama looked like in the story. I kind of wanted to bring that llama to life, but it just ended up not happening. So I switched it up last minute to make a white beige llama with a black background, but I still wasn't feeling it, so I got all scratchy. I tried to erase the background, but that didn't work either, so I just started, scratching away. I don't know, this isn't my favorite. I might try again when the book comes out from the library and read it as a voiceover, so if you want to see me try that again, be on the lookout for that. Or if you think I shouldn't even bother, then just let me know down below. Also, if you have any cool fairy tales or stories from your childhood that you remember that might not be the normal or the more traditional stories, let me know down below. I'd definitely love to do some reading on other culture fairy tales or legends that they share with kids. Either way, thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.